Hi, this is Steve Gladis at the George Mason Enterprise Center in Fairfax, Virginia for Steve Gladis Leadership Partners. Today we're talking about a new book that we have coming out this month. This is May 2013. And the name of the book is Positive Leadership. Positive Leadership, the Game Changer at Work. Let me tell you a little bit about the origin of this book. It started about a year and a half ago. I started to get interested in positive psychology. That was actually started not until 1998 under Marty Seligman, who's a very well-known psychologist at the University of Pennsylvania. When he took over the American Psychological Association, he decided he wanted to focus on the positive side of psychology and not just the negative side, which had been the course for many years. Anyway, I started to read the literature of the more well-known researchers, Barbara Fredrickson and at UNC, Carol Dweck, Stanford, Sonia Lyubomirsky, Ed Diener, and Martin Seligman, and many others. I began to aggregate this data, and I put these long reviews. I actually review these books on my blog, which is called survivalleadership.blogspot.com if you're interested in it. I then, at the end of the year, began to accumulate this information and decided to write a book for leadership and why it's so important for leaders to have a positive attitude. One of the reasons is that leaders have such power over people that work for them. Sometimes we lose sight of that. The leaders really have such power. Studies done by a number of folks who write on power and influence will tell you that leaders have a tremendous, the concept of authority has tremendous effect on individuals. And that was one of the things that I started to think about, what would happen if we began to apply this to leaders. And in fact, we did, and have done a number of workshops so far, and have found it to be tremendously beneficial. We pulled together 3 areas, and basically it's based on this whole idea of what does positivity look like. Positivity being sort of a growth mindset of positive well-being, meaning, and purpose toward any individual. We looked at, the data kind of came into 3 buckets. All the research kind of came into 3 buckets, and those 3 buckets are that when people get social in networks, they tend to be the happiest of all people. When people got to use their strengths every day at work, they tend to be among the happiest people. Then when people were practice positive activities, in both mental and psychologically, that positivity spread not only with them, but people that they influence, especially if they were leaders. And so we're going to talk about those 3 areas as we do this series of videos for you, and understand that the power of this stuff, it should not be underestimated. This isn't just happy face stuff. This is real productivity stuff. Gallup looked at engaged, happy people, and found that people who are engaged, typically happy people, or people who are positive, people who are engaged produce 30% more at the workplace. That's huge. Unfortunately, according to Gallup, only about 20% of people are fully engaged. So there's a lot of room for movement here. One of the reasons that we did this book. I hope that you not only read the book, Positive Leadership, but also we'll practice it. We've got Marshall Goldsmith wrote one of the world's leading authorities on leadership, wrote the foreword for it. We have Dan Pink, who's already read it and said some really nice things on the book itself, along with Tony Bingham from ASTD, American Society for Training and Development, and finally Tom Rath, a New York Times bestseller, have all read the book and endorsed it. So we hope that you'll have a chance to read it. We appreciate it. It's coming out this month. It's called Survival Leadership, the Game Changer at Work, and this is the first of the videos. Thank you very much. Steve Gladis here at George Mason.